another 4, and they look really, really impressive. And I think similar to Barcelona, they've made an attacking announcement to the rest of the competition.
They did. They dominated Atalanta in both legs. Like, there's no question marks about it. They dominated Atalanta. And it was just great to watch. I think Palladino even said it in the first leg that he's never seen a team like that they were just absolutely unbelievable. It wasn't one individual. Yes, we know they've got individual talent. It was a collective team in every single area of the pitch. They dominated the game. And credit to Vincent Kompany for getting the players to be so tuned in, where it's easy when you're in this situation thinking at home now, we're pretty much through, to take your foot off the gas. But they just kept on putting on the gas, and it's just the standards that they've set at the football club, and they want to continue to dominate. And it was just another great performance where they're letting everyone know and putting everyone on notice how serious they are.
We sang Italian praises when Inter went to the Champions League final 2 times in 3 years. We sang their praises when Atalanta won the Europa League not long ago. They beat Liverpool in that span. They beat Bayern Leverkusen, who was unbeatable. Up to that point, undefeated season. Had almost never happened. Atalanta beat them, and we praised them. And we praised Italian football. Then the year before that, they were in a final for the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, and we gave them the flowers for that. This year, we have to agree with the boys. You have to call a spade a spade. You have to address the elephant in the room. Italian football is in trouble if they continue to have campaigns like this. So I understand there's a quality gap. I understand there's a football gap. But to lose by this margin, and you're the last Italian team, it's also unacceptable. You also have to say the bad when it's bad. And this was an embarrassing campaign for all the Italian football teams.
So he's not salty. He can say that. Right. But let's just take it back to Bayern, right? Bayern were fantastic. They rotated again. They put Harry Kane in this time. They didn't play him in the first leg. They got Nicholas Jackson on the bench. So they didn't have Elise playing today.
Leonard Cole
came in. He was unbelievable.
National team.
When you start to look at what they have attacking-wise, you go, wow, this is really good. But then probably the little bit that takes them above Barcelona is defensively, they've got a few leaks, like every team, but they feel a bit more solid. They feel a bit more like they dominate games from start to finish. So they're a lot of people's favourites to win this. I think that the way that Harry Kane's playing and the way that the form is in, and we're going to show you his goal now, he's just unstoppable. When you've got that at the top end of the pitch, just gives everyone the confidence.
Well, we thought to refer to him as Harry Kane, no. That's how good his goal was today, like a Brazilian, Latin American.
I wondered where he was going with that.
Was that Brazilian?
It was close. It was close.
Okay. I thought he was going to say Sir Harry Kane. As we said, it sets up a mouth-watering quarter-final. Bayern Munich against Real Madrid. Who do you have as favourites going into that one, Troy?
Bayern Munich. Comfortably. I know Real Madrid. Comfortably, I do, because, again, we had this conversation yesterday. Obviously, Nigel will say the 15 Champions League titles, the way that Real Madrid keep turning up in these moments, and I totally take that point. I just think me and Greta are aligned on this. When you get to this level of the Champions League, your flaws as a team get found out. And I can't really see flaws in this Bayern team. They have options off the bench. They can keep going. It just feels to me that this is a year that Bayern will go really, really deep in it. And again, by the way, we're splitting hairs over two fantastic teams.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I think for me, again, you cannot rule out Real Madrid. I think what you saw them do to Manchester City, Mbappe coming back, and some of these other players coming back as well, style of play, Bayern Munich love to dominate possession. That is how Vincent Kompany
sounds like a friendly bet coming our way.
It could be a friendly bet, it's no problem. If you look at how they like to play, they like to suffocate teams and dominate possession. Real Madrid are accepting that they're not going to dominate possession, so they're accepting to sit back and be defensively sound. And you look at the weapons that they've got to play counter-attacking football, while, you said it yourself, Bayern Munich is still vulnerable a little bit defensively. It makes it for a great tie, and I just don't think you can rule out Real Madrid.
Do you think Real Madrid can stop Bayern from scoring?
I believe so, yeah. I believe Real Madrid can stop Bayern.
So you have Real Madrid going through?
I would say Real Madrid will probably go through that tie. I think it's going to be a great tie, but I won't be against Real Madrid going through. OK, well, while these two sort out the terms of their friendly bet, let's hear from Harry Kane. He was asked after the game for Bayern Munich about that game coming up against Real Madrid.
Next, Real Madrid, what do you think about the team?
Yeah, of course, it will be a tough game. I think whenever you play Real Madrid in the Champions League, you have to expect a tough opposition. You have to be ready for a fight. You have to be ready to, try and play in a certain way. And we'll be ready for that. You know, we don't fear anyone. We know it'll be tough, but with the confidence from this and the confidence from the season so far, we just have to carry on doing what we're doing.
Let's talk about Vincent Kompany and what he's done with this Bayern Munich side. You know, as we look ahead to that game against Real Madrid, we're old enough to remember that, you know, the great Bayern Munich sides in history. Is he getting this team back towards that unbelievable level that they set?
Yeah, it's unbelievable what they're doing. The amount of goals they're scoring, 70 goals between the front three. It could be 100 by the end of the season. I mean, what they're doing in the Bundesliga, yeah, but then it goes back to the age-old question of, or it goes back to the reality of, if they don't get through Real Madrid,
it's not just getting
what
through.
What have they accomplished, though? Because we know that they're going to dominate the Bundesliga, right? Aside from the one-off year that Bayer Leverkusen was fantastic. But we know already that they're the big bullies in Germany. But we don't always know what they can do in the Champions League. You saw the 28 past minutes with Real Madrid. You know, a lot of losses
And they
there.
came unstuck against Arsenal. They didn't turn up for that game.
They came unstuck last year against Inter, when last year we said, okay, Bayern are in the conversation. Yep. So that's always been the question. And if they don't get something here, Vincent Kompany doesn't get something in the Champions League, I think all Bayern Munich fans, they wait for this time of year to see.
Right. Yeah.
They wait to this time of year to rank where Bayern Munich are.
They
judge it on the Champions League.
Let's look at
they have to win the Champions League.
Nigel, I will let you to rebuttal to that. But Bayern Munich, we've asked who wins the Champions League, the viewers here. 54% say Bayern, only 19 Real, only 15 saying Arsenal, and then 12% PSG. Are you surprised at that?
I'm very surprised
given
at
what
that.
you just said?
I'm very surprised at that. I think when you look up from what we've seen so far, Bayern's biggest test was Arsenal. Arsenal beat them 1-0. I know it was group stages, but Arsenal still beat them. That was the toughest task they had so far. And they moan and complain, they only play set pieces. But guess what? You still lost to Arsenal, the toughest task you've had. This is their next toughest test they're going to have so far in this competition. A Real Madrid side that historically have dominated them in this. So for me, I think it's great from what we see from Bayern Munich. But if they don't win this competition, it doesn't matter. I think it's great what Vincent Kompany has done so far. But I think there's going to be tough.
Is that a load of just one-eyed Bayern Munich fans, or can you explain that?
Yeah, no, I can't.
It's recency bias as well, right? They've just seen that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But Real Madrid's got the difficult matchup on the weekend, right?
Yeah.
And they've got difficult matchups in the Liga. In the Bundesliga, it's basically decided. Yeah. So they're going to have rest. They're going to have the option of rotation. They're going to have the option coming into that game fully fresh, both legs. That's also a big turning point at this point of the season with the amount of games these players play now.
Do you not think, though, you know what we've spoken about with Arsenal, like the recent years where they've lost and they've now taken that personally. Do we not think that with Bayern Munich as well? The way that they've went out last year, it'll feel like, OK, this is our moment to go and kick on.
Definitely.
Yeah,
can't
sure. Disagree with that. I think you certainly can make that comparison in the last few years.
Thanks for watching this video from our Champions Club coverage. For more analysis and for all the games, including EFL, Serie, as well as the full suite of UEFA club competitions like the Women's Champions League, sign up for Paramount+.